Before I do, I was in Baltimore, Maryland, or Maryland area this weekend, and I sat down with some brothers. We had dinner together. There was a program for Somalian relief, and we were waiting. We're waiting to get the program started, and I had an opportunity to talk to some brothers. And I learned a few things from them. One of them, a brother said, he says, Imam, there was a white person who said that he became a Muslim through a dead man. And I said, well, what happened? He said, what happened, this man was blind. And somebody had mentioned about Malcolm X. There was mention of Malcolm X. And he went to some kind of library where he can hear it, audio of Malcolm. And he said he became so impressed with Malcolm that he actually took Shahada and became a Muslim. If you did a survey around the country, I would guarantee you that you would get a lot of people that said somehow Malcolm had some effect on them becoming a Muslim. And I hear this all the time, that something about Malcolm, someone could ask the question, and people ask the question all the time, are leaders born or are leaders made? Are leaders born or leaders made? And I go back and forth. Well, I think that, every once in a while, somebody special is made. I think it's a Martin Luther King, for instance, or Malcolm. And let me tell you the reason I say that. Every once in a while, you ever notice people try to sing? American Idol, okay. But you know that there's some people, you can learn how to sing, you can learn, but there's some things you can't learn. It's like within, right? Like in our day was Aretha Franklin. Now, I know you don't know who she is. I mean, I know I'm ancient and everything like that. Because, yeah, right. Because, my position is that the people today can't sing. You don't know what singers are. The stuff you hear now. But you know what? Every once in a while, when you see someone with great talent, you know what you say? ذَلِكَ الْفَضْلُ اللَّهِ يُؤْتِي مَنْ يَشَاءُ. This is Allah's blessing. He gives it to whomever He pleases. I think, for instance, one of the brilliant people among us is Hamza Yusuf. Brilliant. I think that Allah just gifted him. I think that, yeah, he studies, but there's some things that you can study the same thing and you won't get the same results. Allah blessed him, and there's others. It's not just him. I think people like Al-Bukhari, it's Allah's gift. I don't think everybody can have a memory like that. I think that with exercise you can do better. But I think that there's great scholars, Abu Hanifa, Ahmed ibn Hanbal, Imam Shafi, rahimahullah. I think these people, yeah, there's a gift that Allah gave them, really. And I think that Malcolm is one of those people that he just gifted. But one of the lessons that we learned from Malcolm, you can even jot it down as one of the lessons, is that when you look at his life, you see both extremes. You see the bad Malcolm, the Malcolm in prison. You see the Malcolm who's a pimp, the Malcolm who's a drug addict, and the Malcolm who drinks alcohol, the Malcolm who's a burglar. He's a hustler, and that's a very bad picture. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shows us that same person can be equally as good. And so when you look at the transformation of the life of Malcolm, it's good, because know what you could say? You could say that there are a lot of Malcolms out there, but all they need is something from us. All Malcolm needed was something from us that touched him and interacted with what was with him already. And I believe that. And by the way, there's a very interesting hadith. Do you know that every one of, hopefully us who go to Jannah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will show each one of us our seat in the hellfire. We would have been in it had we not obeyed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the Prophet said that would add happiness to our happiness. Because looking where we could have been. On the one hand. On the other hand, he said, everyone who goes to the hellfire will see their place in the Jannah that they could have been had they submitted to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then he said that will add sadness to their sadness. So what does that mean? It means that every one of us have an opportunity to make a decision. You see, I was listening to a preacher. And by the way, brothers and sisters, let me tell you this. You know, this is an interesting hadith. Let me go back to this hadith, and you all know the hadith. So let me give you the essence of it. You know anybody who's been in prison? Okay. Do you know anybody in prison who have killed 100 people? I don't neither. But here was a man who killed 99 people, right? And he asked, to his credit, who is the most knowledgeable person on earth? And he was shown a rahib, a monk. Now, he went to the monk, to his credit, and said, I murdered 99 people. Is there any way for me? And listen to what the monk said. Listen to his fatwa. This is the fatwa. The man said, is there any way for me to make repentance? And the monk said, La. He said what? He said La. This is his whole fatwa. And what happened? The man killed him. Right? Now, question. The hadith doesn't explain why he killed the 99 people. But it alludes, it hints why maybe he killed the 100th. Why he killed the 100th? Why? Sister? What's your name? Yes. Naima, why he killed the 100th person? Why he killed that rahib, that monk? Yeah, because the monk, the monk deprived him of hope. And when a person deprived of hope, he dies. There's nothing to live for. In other words, if I can't make tawbah, what's the sentence? I might as well kill you too. There's nothing left. And hope is essential. Hope is essential in human experience. You got to have a sense of hope. And this is why, by the way, all over the world, you see Muslims doing things that you cannot imagine, blowing themselves up, blowing up other people. Horrible things, because in a sense, some of them is a sense of hopelessness and desperation. Now look at the wisdom. Look how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shows us. To his credit, he goes again and asks for the wisest person on earth. And he's shown an alim. And listen to the alim now. The alim now, see, this is the danger of bad fatwa. This is the danger of the wrong fatwa, religious verdict. He asked the most knowledgeable person, he said, listen, nothing can stand between you and the tawbah to your Lord. But this is what you have to do. You have to, A, leave this place, it's a wicked place, and go to that land where people worship Allah. You worship Allah along with them. So the man, he goes, and on the way there, he's halfway there, he dies. You know the hadith, the angels begin, malaikatul kadhab, adhab, and malaikatul rahmah, the angels of mercy and the angels of punishment, they fight. This man has done no good, we should take him and he get punished. No, he made some effort, we should take him and give him mercy. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives the answer through another angel in the form of a human being. He makes the angels listen to him and they follow his ruling. And he said, we will measure the land he came from, the land he's going to, and which land is closer, they can take them. So there's many variations. One variation said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala stretched the land where he was coming from and made it longer. And the land where he was going made it shorter. So that when they measured, he was closer to where he was going by shibrin. One shibrin. Shibrin is like a hand's length, right? So the angels of mercy took him. One of the lessons of Malcolm is that always hope in the human personality, that you got to know that you're dealing with, it's got to be hope. It's got to be hope. It's got to be like, okay, brother, I don't care what your condition is. And you got to be able to do that. Can you handle that, for instance? Can you handle, for instance, sisters, can you handle a prostitute? Are you too good to talk to a prostitute? Now, brothers, I'm not talking to you. I don't advise you to talk to no prostitutes, all right? Yes, I won't give you $1. Come here, sister. No, don't give $1. Don't give prostitutes no $1. Okay, they will give you $1. But sisters, you know what I'm saying? The one thing I loved about the nation, let me tell you something about the nation that was good. These brothers reached down in the mud and got people out of the mud and brought them into the temple and cleaned them up. And that's what we don't do. You see, when you think about Malcolm, Malcolm was in the mud. They called him Satan in prison. He was bad. Malcolm was bad. And sometimes you make judgments on people, and you can't make a judgment. Why? Allah said in the Quran, وَمَا كَانَ لِنَفْسٍ أَن تُؤْمِنَ إِلَّا بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ. No one can believe except by Allah's permission. And why is that important? That's important because you don't get an ego and think that I can say it and they come. Maybe they come, maybe they don't come. But maybe you just planting the seed for someone else to come after you. And that happens all the time. You drop something and you think that you're not doing anything. No. Don't worry about the results. The results are not on you. Your job is making effort. Hopefully Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make your effort bear fruit. Sisters, can you know what I'm saying? So you see, the town drunkard, for instance. Malcolm was the town drunkard, if you would, you know what I mean? So, but somebody has to go to them. And this is the trial of the ummah, of the Muslim ummah. Can we go out to these people in Harlem, in Brooklyn, in Bedford-Stuyvesant, in Long Island, in Hempstead, and can we go to them and bring those people dawah? Wallahi, many people are waiting for us to come. And the only reason that they don't become Muslim because somebody else grabbed them. A Jehovah's Witness grabbed them. And that person was for you, but the Jehovah's Witness got them because they worked harder than us. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowed it, man. That's my point. You can be pious. You can be the most pious Muslim and think that Allah going to send you to people and the people going to become Muslim just because you're pious or you have the right ideology. The lesson that I'm trying to tell you, you can have the right ideology, but you can be the wrong person because you're not a real salesman of the ideology. And somebody like Malcolm, as brilliant as he was, he can take nothing. He can take an ideology that's incorrect and have a profound effect on the people. And we got profound, listen, no, it doesn't come more profound than what we have. It doesn't come more profound, man. Tyler?
I think this goes back to your question in terms of why people are so afraid of him. If he can take something, and I've heard some people I used to hang out with that, if I can sell that,
yeah,
I know I can sell this.
Yes, there you go.
He was able to take something that was false for sure and have followers, increase the nation's followership.
So what does that teach you? See, that's what I'm trying to hone in on. So what does that teach you? He was able to take something false and get followers.
So the truth, he could be more expansive. And then when what he's calling them to also is perhaps, a whole other thing.
Perhaps, but my point is that you, again, I guess I'm trying to tell you that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will even allow a wrong person to receive a measure of success. Yeah, it's like, you see, I think we thinking that because we got it, they're gonna come. And see, in our mind, their ideology will fall. It may fall. But I'm not waiting for it to fall, right? I'm not, and don't get me wrong, I'm not sitting waiting for a miracle. Why? Because miracles are not in my hand. That's Allah's business. You understand what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? I'm not waiting dependent upon a miracle. I'm going to ask Allah for a miracle. But I can't demand Allah to give me a miracle. That's His business. What do I mean? Musa I mentioned earlier, he said, what about those prophets that were killed? Prophets were killed. Allah could have stopped it. Why didn't He stop it? For His wisdom. Some prophets, sometimes he stopped it. He stopped them from killing Isa. He stopped them from killing Ibrahim alayhi salam. Threw Ibrahim in the fire, so the fire be cool. And it's not like, don't worry, they're going to throw us in the fire and Allah going to tell the fire to be cool. Not necessarily. I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? You probably going to burn. Most likely you're going to burn. So I'm saying that I want to make dua. I want to ask Allah. I want to depend upon Allah for everything you do. but at the same time go work. And that's what I'm trying to teach today, that we got to go to work. Elijah Muhammad had a 4th grade education, and look what he was able to do. He was able to attract men like Farrakhan, Malcolm X, Cassius Clay, and Jeffrey 12X. Who was Jeffrey 12X? The old me. Muhammad Ali, and many, 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 many more. So let's go to work, man. Let's go to work.